Well, hey guys, I'm Nick and welcome back to Sci-Finatics. Well, today we've got Lower Decks back again. It's been a little while since we've had our last season of Lower Decks, but we got that really cool glimpse of Lower Decks as part of the Strange New Worlds Season 2 show, where we got live action Mariner and Boimler coming onto the show. But we're now back into Lower Decks. Our first 2 episodes have dropped for Season 4, and today I'm going to talk about the first episode of the season entitled Twovix, which is spelled Twovix, not the Voyager episode version, but there is some significant links back to that Twovix episode of Voyager in this episode. And we've got a bit of a Voyager adventure in this episode, a bit like what we did last season where the Lower Deckers went to DS9. This episode is pretty much wrapped up in Voyager. So that's going to be a huge amount of fun to see all those Voyager references and everything in this episode of Lower Decks. And there's plenty of in-jokes, references to past Voyager episodes. I'm going to take you through all of those today, identify what they are, where they were from, and yeah, just talk about this really cool first episode of Season 4 Star Trek Lower Decks. But before we get into that, you guys might have noticed in all my videos and so forth, the background here behind me, with the starfield and the nebula, the moving, it's one of the Galaxy Lamps products, which is fantastic. It makes a great background for my set. Got a little quick sponsored message from those guys. Take a look at that, and then we'll get right into our review for episode 1 of Season 4, Lower Decks. Ever wished you had access to a holodeck or stellar cartography just like on the Enterprise? Well, turn any room in your home into a planetarium with Galaxy Lamps Galaxy Projector 2.0, a futuristic device that fills any room with mesmerizing galactic vistas, where you'll be immersed in a universe of constellations, nebula, and starfields. Bring the night sky indoors and explore outer space from the comfort of your home. It offers full smart app integration and allows you to take full control of the projector to change color options, adjust rotation and speed, adjust brightness, set timers and schedules, even with voice control if you choose, using actual high-resolution NASA satellite imagery to produce amazing results. The Galaxy Projector is also surprisingly soothing. Pair it with some peaceful music, kick off your shoes, and feel the stress of the day melt away. The projector uses low wattage lasers and produces little to no heat. It's kid and pet friendly, so it's safe for the whole family. Just in time for Christmas, such a unique gift for your friends and family, transforming even the most boring of rooms into an intergalactic extravaganza. Check out the link in the description for an additional 15% off this amazing product. So our episode starts off with the announcement of this sort of classified mission. Basically, the Cerritos is taking part in, and it turns out that they're headed to a star base there to pick up the Voyager. The Voyager obviously needs a bit of a spruce up, a bit of a spit and polish. It's going to be basically turned into a museum ship. It's not ending up quite at Geordie's museum or whatever that we saw in Star Trek Picard Season 3, but it is on its way there, I'm guessing. And it's the job of the Cerritos and the Lower Deckers just to get a few things in order with the Voyager for its display as a museum piece. From the end of last season, we get obviously T'Lyn, the Vulcan character, as one of our regular new Lower Deckers on board the Cerritos, which is kind of cool. Got a new character. But it seems like Boimler's off to his old mundane chores, doing holodeck waste removal. We kind of saw holodeck waste removal being done, I think it was back in Season 1 or something, but it seems like it's one of the regular routines these guys have to perform. But it would appear like promotions are on the table. It looks like we've got Lower Decks ensigns being bumped up to junior grade lieutenants. So that's a pretty cool advancement. I'm sure Harry Kim would be very jealous. He got stuck as ensign for a whole 7 years, but it's only taken 4 seasons for the Lower Deckers to get a bit of a bump up in promotion. Obviously, we get the big reveal that the Voyager is the hero ship in this episode that we're maintaining and servicing, putting through the proverbial car wash and, vacuuming under the seats and all that sort of stuff to make it all ready to go. And in the opening title sequence, we get a little bit of a new addition. The battle sequence, which every season has added a new ship to the little sequence there, in a bit of a homage to Star Trek 4 Voyage Home. We've got the addition of the probe ship that was trying to communicate with the whales, added to the list of other ships that are in this little combat sequence here. Every season they add a new one, so it's kind of cool to see that, because we've always had the posters and everything for the various different seasons of Lower Decks being a homage to whatever feature film that kind of represents. So obviously the poster is very much similar to Voyage Home poster, and yeah, by adding this whale probe to the opening title sequence. I thought that was a nice addition. I love it when they're going through the Voyager and, you know, talking about things like Neelix's cheese that at one point caused a bit of havoc with the gel packs or whatever. We've got them complaining that, you know, this Voyager kind of smells like Borg because obviously they had a bunch of Borg alcoves in there in the cargo bay and everything, and I guess 7 of 9 did a few little modifications here and there to various different parts of the ship, and they had a few Borg additions and a few modifications done in that last season of the show to get themselves back to the Alpha Quadrant and everything. So it stands to reason the ship might have a slightly Borg aroma to it. Now, obviously, this episode is entitled Twovix, spelled T-W-O, and there's obviously a lot of Twovix references in this episode. We get the flower moving some stuff out of storage and everything that falls onto the transporter pad, and we get a transporter mashup of Billups and Ta'ana, who's called Ta'illups. So this is, you know, right along the same sort of lines as the Twovix episode. We get the macrovirus alien from the macrocosm episode of Voyager, where we had those life forms causing havoc on the ship and everything, and the Doctor was fighting them off in sickbay and everything. So there's obviously one more of those stuck behind a panel in the wall somewhere they had to kind of get rid of. We obviously got a cool reference to the Old Scientists episode of Strange New Worlds with Mariner kind of going, shh, don't mention that Pike thing we're not meant to talk about, when she was referring to their mission on the Voyager sort of thing. So having just seen that season of Strange New Worlds and having that link back to that episode where we had Mariner and Boimler on the Enterprise under Pike or whatever, I think that was like a cool little reminder that we just had that episode. And amongst all the havoc and everything that's going on in terms of the cleaning process on board the Voyager, we get the transwarp salamanders as kind of animatronic display puppets sort of thing. It looks like they've got like battery compartments and everything, and there's mannequins and stuff of all the different Voyager crew members that they've obviously got on display on board the ship. But I think, yeah, I predicted there might be a little bit of a look at the subspace salamanders, or a bit of a poke fun at them, which was kind of cool to see. But we also had some pretty iconic Voyager holodeck characters as well. Obviously, Dr. Chaotica from the Captain Proton holodeck series that Tom Paris would run on a regular basis with Harry Kim. We've got the Clown from the Thor episode, played by, you know, Michael McKean in that episode or whatever. That was a pretty memorable character as well. And this one was a little bit more of a struggle to remember. There was a couple of episodes on Voyager that featured the Fairhaven. It was like a 18th century Irish village setting. Janeway had like a romantic relationship with this Irish guy called Michael Sullivan. This holodeck program lasted, I think, 2 episodes at the most. We kind of got a little bit of a glimpse at it. It came back once, and then obviously they decided that wasn't that good a holodeck program, let's go somewhere else. But yeah, it was a bit of an obscure yet, you know, interesting reference to have that Michael Sullivan romantic interest from Janeway come into it as well. And he obviously, you know, gave Mariner a bit of a kiss there in one of the scenes, because he was a bit of a sly dog, that Michael Sullivan. We certainly got, I think, those kind of big story beats from the holodeck past of Voyager in this episode. I love it when the macrocosm aliens are like, you know, flying around the ship, and one of them has got Harry Kim's clarinet stuck in it. So it's obviously flown through Harry's clarinet at one point, and it's sort of stuck on the clarinet. I thought that was kind of funny. And we get a good amount of debate too about various different Cerritos crew members talking about Janeway murdering Twovix and everything, and whether that should have happened, or whether they should have saved Neelix and Tuvok, or whether they should have murdered Twovix. And yeah, I think there's always been that kind of debate in Star Trek as to whether Janeway's a murderer or not in this capacity, and that was kind of touched on a few times in this episode. So that was an interesting debate that all the different crew members were having. And not only do we get the Ta'illups, Ta'ana, Billups transporter mashup, but we also get the Captain Freeman and Councillor Miglimoo mashup as well, where they get combined. Obviously, these mashups are trying to take over the ship, and they're trying to merge all the crew members together to make, you know, different mix-up crew members as well. So we see all crew getting Twovixed in this episode and trying to kind of take over, which it kind of ends up as being this sort of large blob of people all mixed together, which I thought was quite fun. And having to isolate, different personalities and everything in order to free everybody from the big people blob of mixed up Twovix people in this episode. It was a kind of a cool reference to that Voyager episode, but done in a completely over the top kind of way, which is what Lower Decks does best. Rutherford uses Neelix's cheese to defeat the rampaging holodeck characters. We see the Voyager exhibit completed and everything all put together, which is on display. I guess this is where it's being presented before they head the Voyager off to Geordie's museum. And our ensigns are getting a promotion to junior grade lieutenant. We get everybody pretty much getting a promotion to lieutenant junior grade, except for Rutherford. He doesn't get a promotion in this episode. But as always, Mariner doesn't want the extra responsibility. She hates the extra chores and everything. She just wants to scoot along and just do boring mundane jobs or whatever and not have any responsibility. So she's sort of trying her best to get out of this promotion, which is sort of typical Mariner. And at the end of the episode, we see this introduction of this. I'm just going to call it like an alien probe, I guess, because let's face it, season 4 is a bit of a homage to Star Trek 4. Therefore, the alien probe being the big threat in Star Trek 4, we have a similar alien here at the end, taking out a Klingon vessel. We've got a couple of Klingons there, and they come across this unknown vessel, which could be a ship, as they said it had one alien occupant, which destroys the ship entirely. So it seems like this probe is going to be causing a lot of havoc in the Alpha Quadrant this season. It comes back again in the first episode of season 2, which I'll talk about in my next review for episode 2 of the season. But yes, this threat is going to be an interesting one. I think there's probably going to be a reveal as to the origins of that and everything, whether it's, I don't think it's the Packlids again. I think the Packlids are probably, we're probably moving on from them perhaps, and I don't necessarily know they have the technological capacity to put together something like this. So, it'll be cool to see exactly where our enemy probe is hailing from. All in all, I really enjoyed this first episode of the season. Great to have that sort of Voyager homage in this episode where we get to sort of poke fun at a few of those iconic moments, episodes, and characters from Star Trek Voyager. That was great to see. And just, obviously, putting a different spin on the whole ethical debate of the whole Twovix scenario as well was really interesting and great fun as well. So I think this was a pretty good start to the new season of the show. Season 4 of Star Trek Lower Decks underway now. Yeah, but let me know what you guys think. Leave a message in the comment section. Let me know what elements of Voyager and the various different Voyager homages you appreciated in this episode. And, did you like it as much as, say, the DS9 episode? I mean, we got a couple of cameos in the DS9 episode where we saw Quark and Kira. We didn't get any Voyager cameo. I thought we might have got a Voyager cameo in this episode. I thought we may have got an appearance from Janeway or something, considering Kate Mulgrew is been fairly regularly in front of the microphone doing her lines for Prodigy. I thought they might have just say, hey Kate, do you mind just doing these extra couple of lines here for this episode of Lower Decks? We're just going to squeeze you into that episode. So I thought we might have got one of the Voyager characters come back for something to appear in this episode, whilst they got Voyager all kind of spruced up to go on display as a museum piece, but no cameos. But we got plenty of cool references, which was fun as well. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to Sci-Finatics yet, don't be shy to do so. Click on that big subscribe button to stay up to date with all the latest Star Trek news on YouTube. I'll be back tomorrow with my review for episode 2 of the show. Be sure to check out all my merch in the merch store. T-shirts, hoodies, mugs, caps, all that sort of stuff. Links in the description. Be sure to check them out and pick yourself up a bargain in the merch store. I'll be back with my episode 2 review. Check that out tomorrow. I'll see you soon.